Hi, my name is Carrie Forsyth Stevens, and I'm the editor of 24/7 Magazine. Today, I'm speaking with Kyle Wiens, the CEO of iFixIt. And I'm just gonna, hear about what iFixIt is, and we just want to hear about that. So, what exactly is iFixIt, Kyle?
Well, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. iFixit is a community of people that teach each other how to fix things. You could think of us kind of like Wikipedia for repair. And we started in the electronics realm with Apple products. We're the most comprehensive online resource for how to fix everything from an iPhone to a MacBook. So you may have stumbled across iFixit Googling for how to fix your washing machine or how to fix your phone. We have step-by-step instructions, but the whole site is community driven. So some of the information is created by us, but most of the information is created by fixers around the world, people that are interested in tinkering and repairing. And we, over the years, have built up this, phenomenal database where now iFixit is the largest public service manual for everything from electronics to kitchen appliances, home appliances, that kind of thing. And now we're working on medical equipment.
Great. And what led to that? Why did you decide to add the payment component?
Well, we have been working on right to repair for a long time. iFixit, our mission is to teach everybody how to fix everything. And of course, we can't teach you if you don't have the ability to fix things. Manufacturers have put hurdles in the way of people learning how to repair their things. It's not just hurdles for DIYers, it's hurdles for professionals. In the automotive world, for a long time, auto mechanics were having trouble getting service manuals, schematics, diagnostic software from the manufacturers. And so in 2012, the state of Massachusetts passed an automotive right to repair law. And it was on the ballot. The voters of Massachusetts voted for it. It was overwhelmingly popular. It got 86% of the popular vote, which is unheard of in a ballot measure. And what that did was it made Ford and GM and the other car manufacturers have to share service manuals, diagnostic software with the mechanics. And that has really reset the playing field where the dealerships have access, the information they have access to, now it's the same that the independent techs have. Unfortunately, we only have right to repair laws on the books for automotive. We don't have it for consumer electronics, we don't have it for agriculture, and we don't have it for medical equipment. And so for the last 5 years, I've been working with a coalition of people at repair.org. Repair.org is the Repair Trade Association, to get right to repair laws introduced around the country. And over 20 states so far in 2020 have introduced right to repair bills. Many of them include medical equipment. We've had help from the Illinois Hospital Association and some independent medical servicing organizations. But it would do for medical devices what has already happened with automotive. So through that advocacy work and working on this legislation, we've gotten to know a lot of biomeds, and they consistently tell us that access to information is a real challenge.
And it's interesting that you launched this during a pandemic. I mean, how has COVID-19 kind of inspired more right to repair movements and created the need for service manuals?
Well, I realized that we couldn't wait for legislation to pass. Like, we've got legislation pending in a lot of states. It might pass this year, but it might not. And even if it did, it was going to take time to come into effect. And I've been watching websites like Frank's Hospital Workshop over the years. Frank's is a great site, and realized that it was super useful. But as I was browsing around Frank's, I saw that a lot of manuals had been taken down by DMCA threats from the manufacturers, and that didn't sit super well with me. And of course, Frank, I don't know if you realize this, but Frank's Hospital Workshop, wonderful site. He is a biomed at a children's hospital in Tanzania.
Oh.
And he spends his time training biomeds across Tanzania how to maintain medical equipment, which is super important. And this equipment is in sort of more difficult physical circumstances than we have here in the U.S., where they have less stable power. So instead of consistently getting 120 volts, maybe one day it's 90 volts, and that causes a real problem when they burn out power supplies. So access to schematics and board level information is really important for medical equipment in Africa. So I kind of knew about all this, and then when the pandemic hit and we saw the crisis in Italy, where ventilators were in really short supply, every ventilator they could possibly pull out of warehouses, out of the dustbin, they pulled out, and then they were having problems with them breaking, and there were valves with the ventilators that were failing, and they asked the manufacturer for parts. The manufacturer was back ordered, so then they started 3D printing replacement valves. And I was just seeing this wave coming toward the rest of Europe and the US, and said, well, we have to do something. And of course, iFixIt is very good at organizing and distributing service information. So we said, why don't we just do with medical equipment what we've done with everything else, and let's build a central resource that is completely free, that is comprehensive across all medical equipment. We started with ventilators and anesthesia machines, but now it's comprehensive with everything. And I think that's really what we've needed all along. It seems to me that the industry, there isn't really one central place to go and get service manuals for everything.
And what do you want to tell our viewers, the hospital-based biomeds? It's just everyone in the HCM field.
Yeah, so imagine if there was a central Wikipedia with service information organized, in a nice searchable way, right, that was findable via Google, with up-to-date user manuals, service manuals, installation manuals for all the equipment that you use. Wouldn't that be ideal? And I know every biomed has been working on organizing the manuals that you have. Everybody, you get what you can get at trainings, you get it from other biomeds, and everybody's got their hard drive with the information that they've cobbled together. I talked with one biomed who said that he thought that last year he spent like 400 hours organizing his hard drive with service manuals on it. So imagine if all of us are putting in hundreds of hours of time, acquiring and organizing manuals. That's all duplicative. We're all doing the same work. One hospital and another hospital might have 30% the same equipment. Why are we redoing this work? So what if instead of everybody working on their own drives, we all work together in one central place? And that's what iFixIt is. It's a free resource. It's a wiki. So if you go to the link in the chat or below the video there, you'll see the database. You can dive into clinical, and you can look at ventilators. You can dive into lab equipment. You can see microscopes or any other kind of lab equipment you want to look at. We've got an extensive category for physical therapy equipment, hundreds of bicycles, recumbent bicycles and exercise bikes. So I mean, any of the equipment that you're maintaining, the goal was to make it comprehensive that it's on there. We started with about 50,000 files that were given to us by biomeds around the world, and then we whittled that down to about 13,000 manuals that after we deduplicated them. There were a lot of duplicates and corrupt files and other things. So we have created about 5,000 categories and devices with 13,000 files. That's the start. But the plan is for this to be something that is a living, breathing database that expands and gets better over time. So if you see a page and there's a manual that you have that isn't already up there, just hit the edit button, upload the file, and it'll be available for everybody.
Very cool. And what else do you want our viewers and readers to know about this, and and just the right to repair movement in general, and where that's at?
Well, this is, we've been in this sort of like uneasy dance with the manufacturers where biomeds have been figuring out how to do their job and have been doing a great job, but it hasn't been as easy as it could have been, right? Where with automotive right to repair, you can just log into Ford's service manual site and you can download anything. Of course, it would be nice if there was a central resource. And one thing that's different about medical devices compared to cars, there might be 15 different car manufacturers. There are hundreds of medical device manufacturers. And so a central resource is more important in medical devices than it is in some other areas. You want to be able to look at a category. You want to be able to look and say, well, let's talk about anesthesia machines and let's see what these anesthesia systems look like across different manufacturers. We also have a workbench tool on iFixIt where you can add sort of a list of equipment that you have, and it kind of customizes your information that you're interested in. The other thing is, it's not just about the manuals. It's about information exchange and having a little bit of a community. What we find consistently with repair across the board is that we all build these sort of like silos of expertise in our heads. Like the last time I fixed something, I learned a few things about it. I'm sure you know how to fix some things that I don't know how to fix. All of us together are smarter than any of us on our own. And so if we can build a community where we're asking each other questions, and we're not afraid to go out and say, hey, I'm having a challenge. I'm trying to figure out the preventative maintenance procedure for this, and I'm a little bit confused by what it said. Or I'm having trouble sourcing this component. I can't get it from the manufacturers. Anyone have ideas? Those kinds of questions. We can, we will all be better for it. And one limitation that I've seen with traditional forums whether it's PHP-BB or some of the biomed forums out there, is that they tend to be organized by like general topic, like troubleshooting. Instead, the conversation should really be focused around the specific device that we're talking about. If you're a hospital that has Draeger ventilators, you want to talk with biomeds from other hospitals that have Draeger ventilators. I don't have a lot to say to you, but other hospitals do. And like I know, I've got friends at Boston Mass General, they've got Draeger ventilators, and they would love to talk and connect with biomeds around the world that have that same equipment. So on every page, next to the service manual, there's an ask a question button, and you can ask a question, and then other technicians from around the world will be able to jump in and help.
And just my last question, what would you say to people that question the safety aspect of this?
Well, patient safety is absolutely the #1 priority. And the thing that is going to lead to the best patient safety outcome is having current up-to-date information fast. Right? There are life and death situations in hospitals every day where if a biomed can't get the information that they need very quickly, they're not going to be able to get the equipment back operational to meet the clinical needs. So that is absolutely, I think, the highest priority. And one thing that we could really use help from the community with is making sure that we have the most up-to-date manual available. That's how we're going to have the best patient safety outcome is to get current centralized information for every medical device out there. And over time, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to collaborate and partner with the manufacturers, because I think in an ideal world, every time there's a new update, the FDA approves update to the manual, manufacturers put it on iFixIt, and then you have one central open place. And certainly that's the kind of thing that right to repair law would make possible, but there's no reason we need to wait for that. So if there's medical device manufacturers watching, come and work with us. Let's make sure that the information is organized and relevant and available in a way that works for you.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone else will too. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Go on iFixIt. Yes, sign up for an account and upload upload a file. iFixIt, everything on iFixIt it's Creative Commons licensed, and it will always be available for free with no ads. That's our commitment to the community.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
having me.